Welcome to our event today. Before I get started, I just wanted to give us some Zoom tips to give us a chance to have really good success. So if you don't mind me reading those over here. I just want to let you know that in order to minimize distractions, so we don't have dogs barking and things like that, for the first part of this Zoom meeting, we're going to have you muted. And then what's going to happen after we go through several slides with Mickey Alam Khan, then what we'll do is we'll unmute and we'll allow people to, what we'll do is we'll allow you to unmute yourself, because we do want to have a live Q&A where you can literally ask questions of Mickey and things like that. During this presentation, we'll have the chat going. So if you have some things that you want to point out or share, feel free to use the chat. The last thing is, you're going to have the best experience if you use the top right button that says view and you go to speaker view. That way, when Mickey's talking, you'll just absolutely have the best experience, and it'll be the easiest way to do this. Now, with that, I want to let you know, before I introduce Mickey, we've got just a couple 2-minute thing to talk to you about. It relates to some of the success that you guys have had as an agent, and we wanted you to see this, and we wanted Mickey to see this too. So Mike, why don't you show us real quick a couple of those statistics before we get going with Mickey?
Thank you, Ron, and good morning, everybody. I just want to briefly share a couple of very interesting statistics with you. On this first slide, what we're looking at here is year-to-date growth in the overall Southwest Florida market for $1 million plus sales volume. So this is the luxury market in Southwest Florida. You will see in this first bar in the chart that sales volume for $1 million plus properties has grown by 101%. It has doubled itself over last year. I thought it would be interesting to compare this with not only John R. Wood, but your nearest competitor. So this blue bar represents your nearest competitor in the marketplace, and you will see that that competitor did not quite keep up with the market. Their year-over-year growth in $1 million plus volume was 63%. That brings us to John R. Wood and what you have done in the luxury market. You have grown your luxury business by 122%. Outpacing the market at large by 17% and nearly doubling the growth of your nearest competitor. This is just remarkable. We have one more statistic we'd like to share with you. Let's discuss briefly how many of you are out there in that luxury segment. So here's the best way we could sort of demonstrate this for you, and this is pretty interesting. For every 100 of you who sold property in the luxury segment, that's $1 million plus in 2020, the next slide will reveal that 130 of you have sold in the luxury segment in 2021. 30% more of you are selling in the $1 million plus price segment this year versus last. These statistics reveal incredible growth and opportunity in the luxury market. What you will learn today about how to leverage luxury portfolio will position you to even further outpace the market and your competitors. I'm excited to hear from our presenters. So I thank you, and Ron, I turn the mic back over to you.
Okay, thanks, Mike. I think what's significant about that, when you look at the $1 million plus that Mike showed you, that includes many 2 to 5 million and beyond that level properties as well. So even though we said 1 million plus, our company is selling a significant amount of 2 to 5 to 10 as well. All right, well, if you remember the last time we got together with Luxury, we had a panel of our own agents who gave us some great advice and great tips. We really had a lot of questions after that, and we actually had a lot of people request we do more with luxury portfolio because the panelists themselves said they really use this in different ways, but all 4 of them did mention it. So today, we're going to keep that promise to you. We have Mickey Alam Khan, president of Luxury Portfolio International. He's been the leader since mid-2020. He was previously founder and editor-in-chief of Luxury Daily. The luxury portfolio people and Mickey got together. They merged their companies, and Mickey is a president of the whole thing right now. And he has the ability to see what's going on not just nationally, but internationally with how realtors and how good agents are interacting. And he facilitates a lot of not only the way you use it at listing presentations, but also the networking of luxury portfolio type people, any of you who sell what would be considered the luxury properties. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Mickey Alam Khan. Take it away, Mickey.
Thank you very much, Ron, and thank you so much, Mike, and everybody. Thank you for joining us at this early hour. I'm in New York, so I guess we're on the same time zone. Thank you very much. Before I get started, I just want to congratulate you, because looking at those charts and those numbers, it just inspires me to know that, you know, you've got hardworking agents who've understood the market and are out there working and, you know, seizing all these opportunities. You're in a very good state. I mean, Florida is basically the one state, along with Texas, I'd say, that has benefited from the internal migration in the United States, you know, in the last 1.5 years, or almost 2 years, I'd say, you know, in the next few months. And I can tell you, I see nothing but, you know, optimism and growth. I visit Florida quite frequently, and I hope to visit your area pretty soon. My last visit to Naples was a few years ago, but I have very pleasant memories of that market, and it's drop dead gorgeous. Anything better than what you're seeing behind, cold and dreary. But I just want to congratulate you again. And, you know, I'm just looking at this little slide that, you know, Mike and Ron put together. It just tells me that, you know, since you've rebranded, everything has just, you know, gone up a notch. I mean, from the way you present your advertising to the way the listings show up online, digitally, the photography is top notch, even the videos are top notch. Very important to keep that in mind, because at the end of the day, you're selling through photographs and videos. It's basically a seducing the eyes more than anything else. And I think you're on the right track. So I just want to congratulate you for that accomplishment. We've got 220 members, and I can tell you John Arwood is at the top of my list of basically just the nicest people, great market, great marketing, and basically very strategic thinkers. So you're in very good company right there. Now, in this presentation, what I hope to do is basically give you an idea of the network that you have, Luxury Portfolio International. I think it bears in keeping in mind that, you know, while, you know, you go out there and, you know, you're compared to Sotheby's or Christie's and all these other international networks, not one of them has the breadth or the depth of Luxury Portfolio. And that's something that I'd like to stress is, you know, everything we do is to help you with one fundamental need: how to win more listings at the end of the day. Everything we do is driven to that goal. So whether it's the network, we've got 220 members with about 15,000 luxury agents in them. We've got the best tools in our tool chest, marketing, intelligence, content, and obviously we have fabulous knowledge sharing. You know, we host so many events, we have research, and we have all this stuff there just for you. And all of them are geared to making sure that when you go out there and you pitch for business, you stand out from your competition. And that's the reason why I think these next few slides will help you give you an understanding of where we are as a network. And you can, you know, I've told Ron and Mike, they can share these slides and you can incorporate them into your listing presentations. So with that, I'd like to kick this off. And just so you know, this will be recorded. So I'm sure Ron and Mike will share the link with you. We'll also take questions in about 30 minutes. So with that, I'd like to just do a little promo for something that I encourage you to attend. This is our closing luxury hour webinar of the year. It's the Luxury Real Estate Outlook for 2022. And we've got the publisher of The Real Deal. As you know, they're a very big publication. They're far bigger than Inman and Riz, and they're very connected. And they've just opened another bureau in Florida, and they've got, in addition now, focused on your market. So it's something to keep in mind when you're targeting media. Keep them in mind because they've just opened an office right there. And we've got Marcy Russell, who's our chief economist. So the three of us will basically give you an idea of what to expect in the year ahead. We've already got about 500 registrations for that one. It's free, it's part of your membership. So I'd highly encourage you to register. Don't worry if you don't have the link. Right after this, Ron and Mike will circulate the slides and you can basically copy it from there. But it's the day after tomorrow. So I'd encourage you to just spend that 1 hour. So Luxury Portfolio International. It was founded 16 years ago. And basically, we have 4 or 5 things going in our favor. One is our reach, as I mentioned, 220 members in 70 countries. The exposure, we have media buys across major publications, digital, print, and also social media. Highly targeted. We target the affluent market. Everything is $1 million plus. Our market is the same as your market. We keep that in mind. Obviously, education, knowledge sharing is huge for us. And finally, the connections. I think this cannot be overstressed. I mean, this is something to keep in mind. At the end of the day, you have thousands of agents like you in the network. All you have to do is make sure you connect to them, because you never know where your next listing could come from, right? One phone call, one email, one handshake. And that's the best advantage of our network. They're like-minded brands, independent, locally tuned. Something to keep in mind. So we have about 50,000 listings marketed each year on Luxury Portfolio International. If you go to the luxuryportfolio.com website, you'll see it's a completely new look and feel. We've got these lovely photographs, videos, articles, and content on the left side. And we make sure that our site is very well indexed in Google. We're spending a lot of money and effort in making sure that our SEO is up to scratch. And this next year, we're going to spend a lot of money on SEM, search engine marketing. At the end of the day, my goal is to make sure that your listings on luxuryportfolio.com get the right exposure. Very important for us to keep that in mind. Our total inventory, about $53 billion on the website. And the average price is about $2.5 million. Most of them are basically in fabulous locations. We also have a lot of celebrity homes. I know that your network, your firm itself has a lot of celebrities as clients. You can just imagine we've got the biggest brokers in California, in Florida, in New York. So it's just astounding for me to see when I go sometimes and just type in cities, and I see these listings pop up. I say, oh my God, we are really well connected. So that's something to keep in mind, that it's not just, franchise out there. Each one of these firms are basically locally entrenched. They're established in their market, and they have ties to people. Very important to keep that in mind. So as I mentioned, we've got on average at any given day, we have about 20,000 plus listings. Most of those listings are up to $5 million. About 1,200 of those listings are between 5 and 10. And then you've got about 500 that are in the 10 plus. Now, your market obviously is very high price. So, you'll fall into the 1,200 plus market. But I can tell you, we have several members in California. They sell properties in the same price range as you. So I'd encourage you, when you take a look at a member roster, identify players, where they are, and ask to see if you can get any introductions with those markets that are feeding your market. I sit in New York. In the height of the pandemic, we lost 400,000 people. 400,000 people. And where did most of them go? Florida was the #1 destination. Texas, Tennessee, the Carolinas, Arizona. Warm weather, low tax, no tax states. People made a decision. Quality of life. You have all of that going for you in your market. So target folks in my market, in colder climes, the Midwest. You'll see a lot of latent demand, even today. Now we got this new virus strain come up, right? Guess what? You'll get a second or third wind, as long as there's inventory. The only concern I have with Florida in certain markets is that folks are moving there permanently. They're not just buying second and third homes, they're staying there. Now, so if you live there, that does create an inventory situation. And that's the reason why you have to be smarter in the way you market yourself to get the listings out. So we have more US home sales volume than any other real estate network, franchise, or brokerage brand. And our next slide will show you that. So total US home sales volume for the leading real estate companies of the world, which is the parent company of Luxury Portfolio, is about $296 billion. Our next biggest competitor is Keller Williams with 260, followed by Coldwell Banker, Compass, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, and then Sotheby's at 97 billion. Keep this in mind. You know, you have these slides, incorporate them in your presentations. I think a lot of folks aren't aware of this. Our basic volume is way bigger than most of our competitors. Total US properties over $1 million. Look at us, luxuryportfolio.com versus sotheby'srealty.com. We're 12.2 billion versus their 9.9 billion. Douglas Elliman in New York is 5 billion. Compass is 4.7. We have to take pride in the fact that we have far more listings, far more valuable properties on our platform than our competitions. That's something to keep in mind. So luxury portfolio is not simply another title on your email, another addition to your signature. There's real substance to it. It's really global and really luxury. 86% of the listings on our website, luxuryportfolio.com, are priced at $1 million and up. Now compare that with Christie's, it is 81.5%. Coldwell Banker is 58% almost. Corcoran is 55%. Douglas Elliman is 52%. And then you've got Compass, Sotheby's, and all these guys. This is a real money slide. In terms of brand reach, print and digital, I already mentioned that. We've got all these publications in the network targeted affluent individuals, affluent households, from the Wall Street Journal to the Financial Times, Robb Reports, Country Life, Unique Homes, Yachts. We've expanded it. We've got listings through James Edition, Dubai. I mean, we reach Asia Pacific, we reach Europe. We are making sure that we maximize your listings exposure. Very key to make sure that we reach as many eyeballs as possible. Targeted, obviously, targeted. We have more than 2.3 billion page views through our syndication partners. And you can see who we syndicate with, right? The Wall Street Journal, Mansion Global, Barron's, Penta, James Edition. And through them, we get Bloomberg, Dubai in Asia Pacific. And then we've got, expansion in Mexico. Interesting fact about, what's going on right now. I was asked the other day, where do you see more demand coming for Florida? I continue to bank on Latin America. What's happening in Brazil and Argentina and Mexico and a few other countries, including Venezuela, their currencies are crashing compared to the US dollar. All those multimillionaires and billionaires are really worried because every day that they keep their money in their country, it loses value. So they're still looking to basically shift assets overseas. The United States is a very safe haven. You're the closest to Latin America. And I can tell you that I know that for some brokerages, the equation flipped at the height of the pandemic, where because we couldn't travel, 30% of sales came from Latin America and 70% came from domestic. Historically, it was the reverse. It was a 70-30 with the Latin America market back. I guarantee you'll go back to that equation in the next year. So just keep your eyes on the Latin market, focus on the geopolitical developments there, because all those billionaires are still looking to buy into properties as investments, second or third homes, and also basically as a hedge against any collapses in their market. Through our total listing coverage and thought leadership, we've got 12.3 billion impressions. That's the one thing I insisted on when I took over. I said, look, we've got to have better PR, better social coverage. I mean, it's ridiculous that you have, only the trades and all that. You can see now we appear regularly in the Financial Times, Architectural Digest, Forbes, the Wall Street Journal, People, The Week, Mansion Global, and and TV. We just had one of our members show up on Fox. And you name it. So we are making sure that we are touching every single network out there, from TV to print to online and even social. So just to give you an idea, leading real estate companies in the world, we have about 150,000 sales associates in the network, 550 member companies in 70 countries. Of those 550 member companies, only 220 qualify to be members of Luxury Portfolio. It's a very rigorous process to be accepted as a member. You're one of them. Your firm is one of them. Keep that in mind. There are many hurdles to jump before you can be accepted as a member. It says something that John R. Wood is one of our top agencies in the network. If you take a look at the global map of where Luxury Portfolio is compared to the parent company, obviously leading real estate companies accept members who sell properties under $1 million too, but they're also best of breed companies in their countries. You can see that we are pretty well represented and we are growing by the day. We've just signed on members in Israel, and I just got word from, there was another country that we just added onto our list, but we're expanding. So this is something to keep in mind, is look at our network, look at our map, and reach out to your managing brokers or principals and say, all right, I'm targeting this particular market in Europe. Do we know anybody there? Right there, we can pull up the firm and we can make an intro. And guess what? You get the referral fees. I'll come to this in a moment. So, for those of you who use Luxury Portfolio, you know that we've got a back-end portal called Lux Exchange. Now, I'll admit that this requires work. It's work in progress. And the next 3 to 6 months, you're going to see a completely refreshed experience, the back end. It's very heavy lifting. I inherited something that was quite naughty and unwieldy. And as you know, anything with software, you cannot meet a deadline and you're set up for disappointment. I mean, I've had to change quite a few developers. I've had to pour in a lot more money, but we finally got it right. And I said, it's very important for us to have a very good experience at the agent level. So that's what we are striving for, to make it very easy for you to use the Lux Exchange portal. And that's where you can access all our research, advertising. You can do the co-op buys from there, network stuff, databases, everything will reside right there. So, what's our value proposition at the end of the day? I mentioned this. One is a fabulous network that keeps you well connected, right? We know people in the right places. That's one. Two, we are very keen on making sure we have the right tools in our kit to make sure that you make the right marketing decisions when you're trying to either acquire a listing or trying to sell a listing. Very important. And three, it's our knowledge sharing education. The emphasis on content and intelligence is very, very key for us. I come from that world. I can tell you at the end of the day, it is my job to add a level of sophistication to make sure that when you go out there, you have an air of confidence. You're already confident, but you have that extra edge that when you walk in the door to a listings presentation with our presentation box, by the way, you should take a look at the new presentation box. I've already told Mike and Ron to show you. So we'll basically make sure that you have access to this new presentation box, plus our new bags, our new materials. We've relaunched everything, made it more vibrant. The whole goal here is with the network, with the tools, with the knowledge sharing, and with the association with luxury brands with whom we've partnered. We just launched our Lux Connoisseur program a couple of weeks ago, and we've partnered with 12 luxury brands. So let's say you got a fabulous listing that's worth $15 to $20 million, and you want to make sure that it gets the right attention from the right buyers. You get in touch with Ron or Mike and your principals there, your managing brokers, and say that, hey, how can Luxury Portfolio help us with the brand association? We partnered with Bentley, with Frette, with Neiman Marcus, Loro Piana, you name these brands, Montblanc. If they're okay to bring their product and merchandise at that listing, or you go to their venue, guess what? That's something that you have that your competition doesn't have. I signed the contracts with these guys, and there's no money involved for us. It's just that it comes with your membership. You have these relationships, and guess what? When you step out there and you got Bentley and you got these properties out there that you're showcasing, you never know, the Bentley audience might be interested in your listing and vice versa. So that's what we're trying to do, is build up the synergy between brands and people. So if you take a look at this, Education is key. The masterclass is what I'd highly recommend. It's one day, a half day immersive experience and everything related to luxury and real estate and marketing and knowledge sharing. We are already in talks with your firm. So that's something to keep in mind, the masterclass. We always have a training capsule once a year. We offer a 1-hour training capsule to the firm. And anytime you want to request that, by all means, you can do that. And you get a 1-hour overview of what's new, what's next, and how you can use the tools better. Events. I hope to see you in March. We've got our luxury summit coming up March 6th through the 9th. We've got tons of brands, the leading brokers, agents, everyone's there to give you an idea of where the winds are blowing in the luxury market. We've got Four Seasons speaking, De Beers, Wheels Up, Timothy Corrigan, who is a well-known interior designer. He works with millionaires and billionaires. Some of his clients are right in your neck of the woods. He's going to speak about trends that he's seeing in the market and where the winds are blowing in interior design and decoration and landscaping. Then obviously we have magazine experts from Lux Interiors and Sandow Design. If you followed Luxury Portfolio in the last 14 months, we launched this new Luxury Hour webcast. Every month we do 1 hour. We invite guests from the world of research, from architecture, design, travel, manufacturing, just to give you an idea what's going on in the industry that can inform you and make you a better sales associate, a better executive out there when you're going and selling that property. At the end of the day, think about this. When you go into a luxury store, let's say you go to an Hermes or a Loro Piana store, you see the way they greet you and you see the attitude. And I don't mean a negative sense, a positive. You see the attitude for $5,000 to $10,000 product, even a $20,000 product. You're selling something that's in the millions. What kind of attitude should you have? All those luxury products that we see on Madison Avenue, Rodeo Drive, Bal Harbor, you name it, all of them go into that house that you're selling. That's the repository of dreams and hopes. So I want you to keep that in mind when you're out there, is that you're an uber luxury marketer. That's something to keep in mind. Very important. You're not there as a real estate professional. You're there as a luxury marketer. Very important. That mindset has to switch, because that customer, that client is used to getting high-level service from Hermes, Cartier, Chanel. When he or she recognizes that you're of the same caliber as the brands with which she's dealing, guess what? You get renewed respect, and that tips the listing in your favor. Keep that in mind. Exclusive access, networking. I've already mentioned that 3 times a year. We do a happy hour. Agents speak, share what's going on in their market. Last month we had that. We had about 300 agents from across the network register. About 40 or 50% showed up. And guess what? About 30 agents spoke and shared what's going on in their markets. I was fascinated. That gave rise to so many ideas for next year. I already alluded to the fact that we've got a completely new arsenal of collateral material from the magazine. I don't know if you've seen our last issue. It's the recent issue of our Luxury Portfolio magazine. This is 200 pages. Look at the ads. Look at your listings. They pop. I mean, previously, I hate to say that they didn't pop as much, but look at this now. And I'm glad to see that John R. Wood's materials are pretty much aligned with our type of materials too. And the content is superb. This next issue of this magazine will be 260 pages. God help me, because I know that I've blown the budget on that. But I'll tell you something, this has helped sell many homes. This one little thing, this one magazine helps sell homes. And guess what? We increased the print run. When I took over, our print run was about 45,000. I increased it to 60,000 per issue. I believe we are down to our last 6,000 copies. And we just launched this 2 months ago. And we're down to our last 6,000 copies. In addition to this, we also have our new listings presentation box. It's die cut, same materials as a Loro Piana box. And you can see that we've paid a lot of attention to texture. This is our new shopping bag. You put the presentation kit in this bag. Luxury Portfolio International is very discreet here. The LPI logo is discreet. You can add your sticker here, your own branding here, and it's sleek and nice, and handles are very sturdy. I feel like a salesperson, but I'm telling you, aesthetics matter. When you're dealing with that level of sophistication, everyone says we live in a digital world. I beg to disagree. When everyone zigs, you zag. Pay attention to the materials you hand. Because if it's digital, you're forcing your seller or the prospect to lean forward. You want to hand something to them and complement digital. So never forget the physical aspect of selling. A postcard always works. A book works. That shopping bag and the kit works. Leave it there. Let it sit on their desk. You'll see the difference. I've already discussed the online exposure, the print exposure. We've got blogs, we've got articles. Just taking a look. All right, we're down to our last 5 minutes. And then the database and research. 2 weeks ago, we dropped our latest State of Luxury Real Estate 2022 research. We interviewed affluent consumers in 20 countries. Now you tell me, how will that affect you sitting in Florida? Absolutely will affect you, because guess what? A lot of foreign money is looking to park itself in the United States. There's a lot of uncertainty going on right now in the world. You're following the news, right? Between Russia, Ukraine, Belarus. You're looking at China, Taiwan, Hong Kong. Then you have festering issues in Africa. What's the one safe haven? The United States of America. This is where all investments are basically targeted. I can tell you right now, Brexit was a blessing to the United States. Everyone thought that, hey, oh my God, what's going to happen? And guess what? London, which is the financial capital of the world, still gets money from Russia and all those places. But there's a lot of dodgy money going there. Whereas the United States, we get investments, Switzerland, from Western Europe, from Latin America. So our research covers that footprint. We did research in UAE and Saudi Arabia, because we're seeing that the Saudis and the UAE people are buying more assets in the United States, because guess what? They've got a window of about 50 years before oil runs out. And what are they doing, these Qataris? They're going and buying a property. That's the number one thing that the Arabs are doing. They're buying property around the world. So keep that market in mind. If you're looking to expand your book, look at the Arab world, look at the Middle East. Israel has just opened ties with Bahrain, with the UAE, with Sudan, and with Morocco. Why did they do that? Because they see potential. The minute Israel opened the market, money started flowing in both directions. Flights between the two markets, the 4 or 5 markets. Guess what? It's going to change in the next 5 years. Think about those markets there. So, just to quickly wrap up, here are some trends that I'm seeing in the luxury real estate market. The market is softening slightly. We still have a low inventory environment. This means that we have to work a little harder, as I mentioned, in your market. A lot of folks who moved from the East Coast, at least from the Northeast, they're relocating. So they're just not buying second homes and third homes. Some of them are permanently relocating, which means that we need to work extra hard to free up more inventory. But I'm also hopeful when I go to Florida, I see new developments all over the place. And that's a very positive attitude. That's the one thing I love about Florida. It's a can-do, move forward, highly energetic state. Some of what New York is known for too. Supply chain issues will persist. I hate to say this. We're still going to have labor and material shortages. I mean, you know what's going on in our ports, right? We don't have enough workers in ports. We don't have enough containers coming in. The cost of containers has gone up over the last 18 months. Where an average container used to cost $2,000, now it costs $25,000 for one shipping container. Add to that this issue right now with China, because China is, obviously the largest exporter, and China's got this new data security law. They're not sharing any data anymore. You don't know how many containers are flowing out of China, where the ships are, and that's creating a problem too. And then, of course, when they hit our ports, we don't have enough personnel at the port to basically help offload and all that kind of stuff. So you have those issues. The interest rates, you're following the Fed. The interest rates will rise. The Feds will taper their bond buying. I mean, I think the United States buys about $120 billion worth of bonds every month to keep the market fluid and liquid. They're going to basically tamp down on that a bit, which means interest rates go up. the cost of refinancing goes up. The positive note to that is basically you may see freeing up of listings. Very, very positive there, because people have bought properties, as investments and all that may say, all right, we've hit the peak, and they might start offloading. So I see that as a benefit to interest rate rise. Travel and cross-border, I hope to God we don't have another embargo against travel. This Omicron variant is serious, but I think the US has learned from its previous experience. We take our precautions as we can, but I hope that we don't have another embargo, because I think what hurt especially cities such as New York was the fact that we don't have any Chinese money coming in, or Chinese tourists coming into this market, right? And for a city like New York, we get 50% of our 50% of our real estate, our revenue comes from real estate taxes. Already we've lost a few people to other states. On top of that, we don't have the tourists coming in. So cities such as New York and Los Angeles have suffered because of that. And then finally, flexible working schedules. It's here to stay, whether you like it or not. I think you're going to see, a hybrid schedule for the next 3 to 4 years. It'll probably be 2 to 3 days a week at work. Even our company is basically working 1 to 2 days a week from the office. I come in every day simply because I don't have people around me. So, I can afford to do that. But I think in most cases, we've learned in the last 18 months, you can work from home and barely skip a beat, unless your job requires you to be physically present there, like in retail or in manufacturing. So that's pretty much it. Where's the luxury consumer? Big luxury brands are growing bigger. E-commerce has become the #1 store for luxury brands. It's now about 30 to 40% of all luxury retail sales. Omnichannel is big. People expect to shop many ways, whether in-store pickup, buy online, pick up in-store, e-commerce, delivery to your second home or third home, and basically in-store with all the precautions. China saved the luxury industry. If China hadn't bought in the last 2 years, the luxury industry would have been the tube. And then obviously, if you're looking at your younger generations, Gen Y and Z, they basically want to be sustainable and eco-friendly in all their decision-making. And wellness is very important, obviously. I think we all have issues here right now because of the stress we live under, right? And so that's becoming a very big category. I believe that's on track to become a $400 billion industry. That's something that astounded me, $400 billion. And then, of course, as long as the stock markets deliver, we are okay. So that is the coda. Stock markets have to deliver. What saved the United States was the fact that the Fed pumped in a lot of money and the stock market was happy and kept the market growing. So with that, I would like to end my presentation. If you'd like to contact me, you can reach me through Ron and Mike. They have this deck, and I'd be very happy to take questions and start a conversation. I believe we have a good 22 minutes.
Yeah, it looks like we have a question from Wynn Pinnison. A lot of times, Mickey, those of us that have dealt with luxury portfolio for many years, we've seen firsthand the data. Some of the agents, is there some data you publish that says, we really do have X number of referrals that go back and forth? Are you guys tracking your referrals in a way where you share how many versus just anecdotal? That's kind of the question we have going on.
It's a very interesting question. It's funny you mentioned that, because when I joined, I asked, what's the mechanism to track these referrals? And we don't have a mechanism to track the referrals. I've pushed for it to have like a referral exchange to which we can do it. But a lot of these referrals, the agents have to inform the brokerages, and then the brokerages have to report to us. It's very difficult to get within our network compliance from our broker members to basically get this data. But what I can tell you anecdotally is the referrals work. To give you one instance of how referrals work. So one of our members sitting in your market, not in your market, but in Florida, I was talking to the owner, and he said, look, I'm also an agent. And he said, it's a very simple question to ask. When your seller is moving, ask that seller one question: where are you looking to move? Right? So he asked that question, where are you looking to move? And the seller said, I'm looking to move to California. So what he did was, and he asked where in California, some of the markets. he referred that seller to his counterpart in California. Fast forward a few months later, that same seller bought through an agent at the brokerage that he referred to. He got $80,000 for one email introduction. Refer $80,000. So here's something. Ask that one question. Where are you moving to?
Okay, that's great. We got another question. What other members are in Naples are members of Luxury Portfolio? To my knowledge, I believe William Ravis is, although they don't seem to tout it a lot. Do you know of any others, Mickey, besides us and William Ravis?
I think it's Ravis, if I'm right. It's Ravis. Let me just see. I'm looking at Florida right now. I brought my list here. Let me see, Florida. You know that we have the most number of members in our network in Florida. In your market, I think it's just Ravis right now. You got a lot of them you got Kai's, but they're in, different market. And you got members in Pensacola, in Sarasota,
and I think in Sanibel, Fort Myers, we have a question. It's only John R. Wood, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
One thing I will say is I've been in markets where there's been several members of Luxury Portfolio. I was with a company that flat out executed better on Luxury Portfolio. So a lot of times you'll have multiple members in the market, but right now, I think what our panelists said, our John R. Wood panelists, they believe that there's not really a lot of people executing on Luxury Portfolio right now. They use it for their advantage. I think the whole point of this meeting was that we have an opportunity to kind of rise up and be the ones that execute Luxury Portfolio the best. Just by being John R. Wood, you're all members. So I think that's kind of the lens I want to look at this through is what could we do with this to, like you said, Mickey, to get more listings. And I've never seen, I will say this, I've never seen a negative of having a networking connection with another luxury market. I've just never seen that as a negative. What else do we have?
I'm looking at this, the questions here. What other Naples agents you can... look, I'll tell you something. The important thing, that if there's one takeaway I'd like our agents to keep in mind, look, at the end of the day, what makes you different from your competition, right? What makes you different from other members? In the day and age we live in, everyone's out there marketing themselves. Everyone, right? So very often they have the same tools, right? What do we do that's different? What my mission is that, I'm not happy with the status quo. I'm always looking to make sure that I upskill everyone in the network. If you're a physician today, every 2 years, if you're a surgeon, every 2 years, you have to go through a little exam, right? To make sure that your hands are not shaky, to make sure you understand that you're up to speed with the latest surgical knowledge out there. The same thing with agents. I think you have to keep in mind that the market has changed, the environment we live in. I mean, the pandemic really caused people to rethink their lives, right? They put health first. They put wellness first. The labor market changed. If you're thinking about this, 25 years from now, this will be you can say that this will be a pivotal watershed moment in history, just as 1903 was when the Wright brothers took flight in Kitty Hawk in North Carolina. We are here where we are seeing that the way we work is changing and the way we live is changing. We are living through actual history right now. So you got to adapt your mindset as your marketing changes accordingly. That home you're selling is not just an empty shell. It's now an office. It's now a place where, guess what? You can be highly productive. So when you're looking at property or you're looking to basically pitch yourself and walk into a listing, go in with that mindset that you're not just looking at a residential complex, you're looking at a place where people are there to basically enrich their lives through more productive work. And at that same time, you're thinking, all right, this is just one virus. You never know what might come down the pike. But Americans right now are looking for space. They're looking for quality of life. They're looking for wellness and health. And I can guarantee you, people in Latin America, people in Europe, and people in Asia are looking for the same things. So you're not just selling a property anymore. You're selling an office. You're selling a place where people can keep their sanity, right? So it's part clinic, it's part home, it's part office, it's part playground, it's safe harbor. So when you walk in there with that kind of knowledge, it helps a lot. And that's what we're trying to do. For all our 50 plus services and all the other intangibles that we offer, the knowledge exchange, that is what makes us different. You have me. I am not a real estate guy. I'm a marketing guy. I'm a content guy. And I founded companies. And I've been an entrepreneur half my life, my working life, right? I still have a personal company on my side. I know where the shoe pinches. I know what it means to be independent.
Oh, we got a little screen share problem there for a second, at least on mine, but we'll just keep continuing. What other questions do we have in the chat? One of the things that we're clarifying, Mickey, while you're talking, is that there's very few members. We have William Ravis, we have VIP Realty in the Fort Myers area that seem to also be luxury portfolio.
Yes.
Once again, I seem to see, you know, what our panelists noticed when we had our luxury panelists in our own company, that not only not us, but not very many people are leveraging it. So I think you can be different very easily now by doing that. Mickey, would you say it could be this simple? You know, I've been listening to you. I'm familiar with luxury portfolio. I've been a part of it for years. It was very important when it came to John Wood. I love that we were a member of it. It seems like it's two simple concepts. One is when you go to listing presentations, using the materials, and sometimes I've heard agents, even if they're not particularly on a particular listing that qualifies, they just talk about their members. So it's bringing the materials. So it's one thing is make sure you activate it as part of your brand. It's a part of your brand, and however you uniquely brand yourself, it's part of your brand. And then the second thing is, I've personally seen it. It sounds like you recommend that people just start engaging the network. You know, try to log on to some of these things. Get the list from our resources and logging on the site. Deb Spar just helped everybody with the link. And it seems like what you're also saying is, there's no time like the present just to start getting to know other people in the network, and then the referrals start to flow potentially that way too. Would you say it's kind of that listing presentation, use the materials, and network? Am I missing something? Because that seems to be the two main action items you can do with this.
I think those are the two main action items. At the end of the day, when you join a club, what do you join for? Right? It's not just for the food. You join for the intellectual stimulation, for the networking, for the contacts, for idea sharing. This is how you're going to get your next listing, is who do you know? You network. I mean, when you come to our conference, don't waste your time just basically, you know, on the phone, isolating yourself. Shake as many hands as possible. I have a rule in a room, regardless of the size of the room, if I'm there for networking, I like to collect at least 25 cards. That is my rule. I carry about 50 cards in my pocket, my own business cards. And so let me see if I can get rid of half of them in return for 25. Beyond that, it becomes tough for me to remember. But I can tell you, when you start networking, when you take this network seriously, you're going to see a difference in the way you perceive luxury portfolio, and you'll see it for its true value. At the end of the day, I don't want luxury portfolio to be reduced for just to be a platform to buy cheaper Wall Street Journal ads. That's not the whole purpose of luxury portfolio. We've got 220 members. They're leaders in their different markets. They're exposed abroad. Take advantage of that. At the end of the day, we have about 20 people working at Luxury Portfolio International, 20, right? I've hired new staff. I hired people not from real estate. I said, I want to get people from the world of luxury and retail. My number 2 worked at Neiman Marcus. She worked for Mr. Trump in Chicago at his Trump Hotel there. I got people who understand hospitality. I got people who understand luxury. I got people who understand retail. And that's what we want, is basically take all our collective experience in these fields and transfer these skills to you, this knowledge to you. And, I'd encourage you to just listen to that webinar that we're putting together in 2 days. You'll understand how luxury portfolio has changed from even 2 years ago. And I don't like pedantic stuff like, you get all these gurus come in and you got to do this and that. No, I'll tell you, one of the things I learned, I talked to somebody else. I said, look, what's one of the biggest mistakes agents make when they walk into a listing presentation? And you know what he said, Mickey? They demand a tour right off the bat of the home. They shouldn't do that. Ask, can you spend 10 or 15 minutes in the kitchen? Sit down there. And basically you do an interview with your prospect in the kitchen first. Let them open up, let them loosen up, and spend 15 minutes talking to you and sharing their ideas and their vision and their dreams. Then once you soften them a bit, they've gotten a little friendly with you, then say that I'm open for a tour if you'd like, and then let them guide you, because then you're not walking through the rooms as a stranger. You've built that little relationship. That bridge has been built. You don't get to the other side of the river without that bridge or a boat. I think a lot of us try to cross the other side without the bridge or the boat. This is what we are trying to do with you. We are your bridge. We are your boat. We are your plane.
About 6 years ago, I was at a luxury portfolio kind of networking thing, and somebody, might be the same person, said exactly that. He said, I used to always tour first, and through luxury portfolio, I just learned that some of the top agents were making sure they sat down and they said what you said. It's like, go through as not a stranger. And I just was really impressed by that. These are the types of things. I think what we want to challenge ourselves is, Mike and I and James and everyone on our side, we're committed to trying to make sure we promote this more and make sure you know where the links are. They're on Agent Central. We've sent things out. We're going to do a better job about connecting our agents, Mickey, connecting you guys with this. I guess I have a challenge too. So it's all there for us. So what could we do better? I mean, each one of the agents on our company has a different style of working, but how do you leverage in your own way the luxury portfolio brand? Because Mickey, isn't that kind of how it works? You have so many top agents. When they talk about luxury portfolio, I don't think they're giving up their own brand. I think they're supplementing their brand. I mean, because they wouldn't be successful if they didn't have a strong personal story to tell about how they sell houses, how they list houses. So they incorporate luxury portfolio as part of it, right?
Yes. And I think the top agents, what they do is, for them, luxury portfolio is additive. It doesn't take away from what you are. It reinforces your own offerings, your own personality, your own strengths. That's something to keep in mind. If I had to have an analogy of what luxury portfolio is, it's basically the jacket to your shirt. You see, it protects you from the outside world. It presents you to the outside world, but it's also there with lots of pockets to put stuff in. So you have to take luxury portfolio. Where would I start first? The low-hanging fruit. Participate at our events, the digital events. They're free. Get to learn. Our January event is going to be 2 hours. Take 2 hours out of your life. You never know that one nugget from one expert could change the way you think. I mean, to me, you just never know. I'll give you an instance. I love reading magazines and print ads. I always look to see how brands position themselves. And I remember AIG, if you remember the insurance company, AIG, in the 90s, they ran a campaign and they had, so there's one ad that ran, I think either in Forbes or Fortune, I forget, one of these two magazines. So it was Business Week, I forget, one of these three. And they had this photograph of the Wright brothers at Kitty Hawk with the plane as it was taking off. It was airborne just for a few seconds, right? And then there was a scratch mark against it, just like a scratch mark. And it said, the tagline said, the greatest risk is not taking one. 6 years later, I went independent. And that changed the course of my thinking, right? So that's You never know, listening to one person, being exposed to one ad or being exposed to an article, how that might change your thinking. I'm sitting today where I am because that one line that I read, it's sunk in my mind. And that's low-hanging fruit. When you listen to our speakers in 2 days, you never know where it might take you. We've got a dozen webinars. We've got Instagram lives. We've got a lot of content, but I'd say start with the luxury hours. Attend our conference. These are gateways to everything that we do, you see? Then take a look at our media buys. We've got a fabulous PR program now. We've got 2 PR agencies. When you get a fabulous listing with a celebrity, don't burn that listing in your local market. Let your team know that we've got this listing before you start publicizing it. Get in touch with Luxury Portfolio. Our agencies are used to working with international publications. So one listing appearing in the Financial Times, your work is done. You get in front of the right clients. Stuff like that. Think smart. The research that we have, read that research. When you go into a presentation, throw in a nugget. Luxury Daily, I'm opening corporate subscriptions. When John Arbor takes a corporate subscription, we made it so dirt cheap. When you read that, you walk into a listing or you see a prospect and you recognize that scarf as an Hermes scarf versus a Ferragamo scarf, or you recognize the shoe that's a Manolo versus a Louboutin. It's that small little thing that identifying with your prospect that makes the difference. We are giving you that edge, that little edge that you won't get anywhere else, right? I'm not giving you ninja and all that stuff. I'm giving you edge. I'm giving you the luxury quality. That is something that's different. I'm giving you what Hermes has, what Cartier has, the grace and the elegance and the poise.
Well, Mickey, this is amazing. We're just coming to the end of our time. Looks like we're out of questions on the chat here. I would like to say this. When I guess what I appreciate about this is when I contacted you, you instantly engaged with us. There was no pretense. How can we help you? You understood immediately when I called you that it was about all this has to ultimately make sure we get more listings, because then we can put them on Luxury Portfolio and network and get paid. What I've experienced too often in this business is we engage with an expert or something, and next thing you know, it's like there's like this price list at the end of the webinar, and there's like, you got to buy these 30 things and spend $10,000 or else you're not going to get anywhere. You've actually communicated several things that right now are just free to our agents. Start engaging. There's no charge to start talking or try to get to know other luxury people. Take these slides for free. You gave us your slide deck for free. Go use these. And then, yeah, there's some things that we can do and that you've gotten partnerships with, that we can get some of these ads cheaper and everything. But your highlight was so pragmatic and practical. I just want to thank you for taking the time to speak to just John R. Wood. You were very generous with your time. I'm sure all this will trigger even more questions like our last panel did. And, I hope that in the future we can see you when you come to Naples and maybe think about one of those master classes or different things. But I just want to thank you for everything you've done and the way you've talked at it and let us know kind of what's going on and behind the closed door of the whole luxury world. So thank you very much, Mickey, for doing this.
And thank you very much, Ron. And thank you, Mike, and, the John Arbor team. And, I noticed that at the height of this webinar, we had about 140 plus people. It means a lot to me that you took out that 1 hour just to keep an open mind. I think this is a very good first start. It's just, I'm glad. And I'm an open resource for you, available all the time. At the end of the day, I value my time by the way I can serve other people. That's important to me. I'm here to help you. So thank you for this. And I hope we can turn something, I can help you with the brand collaborations. I can help you with the masterclass. I can help you webinars, you name it. You can call on me anytime. So thank you so much.
That means a lot. Okay, well, thank you very much. We know you got to get going on and we know our agents are busy. So with that, we'll end this and there'll be more to come. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Take care.
You too, Mickey. Bye-bye.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.
To you too. Bye-bye.